Good afternoon. Just finished a town hall meeting, and we wanted to do a summary of the meeting for folks that might not have been able to attend. We talked about a couple key things in the town meeting, but I think first and foremost, this week we were visited by NCOD to kind of help look at our leadership team and what we're doing here in Wilmington. And they reminded us in VA we have all kinds of principles and models like iCare, but that at some level we needed some operating principles that would sort of guide our decision making here at Wilmington throughout this year. And so we kicked out some ideas and came up with three key areas that we wanted to focus on. The first was act as if people begin with a place of good intentions. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, when there's multiple tasks that all of us have to struggle with, we sometimes assume that perhaps somebody that we might be in conflict with is not coming at a situation with the best intentions. And so one of the things we're going to commit to this year is we're going to begin with the premise and the understanding that everybody's trying to do the right thing. And so we're going to ask everybody to kind of take that approach. Secondly is act with integrity, which I know we're already doing. And then the third really has to do with how do we communicate? How do we communicate with each other, as well as how do we communicate with our veterans? And so knowledge and communication should never be used as a way to have a one-up on somebody, but really to facilitate timely, accurate communication that gives pertinent information, and that we work on creating feedback mechanisms. So communication is really a two-way street between leadership and our staff, and that we're asking all of us to really adopt these operating principles in everything that we do, because we believe this will make it a better place for our veterans. It will keep us focused on our principal goals of making sure that we're providing the best care that we can, that this becomes a preferred place for veterans to get their care, and it also becomes a preferred place for staff to come and work and be part of the success that we're going to be creating here at Wilmington. So I wanted to kind of bring that up to everybody's attention. The second thing that we kind of talked about was we just finished the fiscal year. And our fiscal team did a great job closing out the fiscal year, and there were a couple key things I want to highlight. One of the first important things was, we started the fiscal year at about 912 cumulative FTE. We ended the year with a cumulative FTE of 993. So there was substantial growth in our FTE here at Wilmington, which is really positive. But it now challenges, as we go into the new year, is to be looking at our positions and starting to think about, what are the differences between wants and needs, and that we're really going to be having to focus on our needs. And so we're going to be asking each of the leaders, as we think about new positions or filling vacancies, what are the critical needs, and how do we make sure that our hiring aligns with our strategic planning, with our priorities, and helps us best meet veteran needs. So the good news is we had growth, we'll have continued growth, but it will clearly be measured, and it now very much needs to make sure that it aligns with our strategic planning and the priorities of our veterans. We also talked about some important upcoming events and accomplishments that has happened. One of the big things is on October 27th at 10:30, we're going to be doing the official ribbon cutting for our new clinic in Georgetown. It's roughly 11,500 square feet. We think it's a great place to practice. It's a much more dignified place to deliver care to our veterans. And I know our staff that are already there and have begun to provide care feel a whole lot better giving care in that setting than the clinic that we just left. We're going to continue to look at other opportunities. We still have proposals in to build new space in Cape May, as well as in Dover. So again, as we think about who we are and what we need to do, our work in the community is critical to our future. We have to be out there closer to where the veterans are. We have to make sure that care is closer to their home. and more available in their community. So growing our CBOCs remains a key priority for us. And then that's why you're seeing us focus and move on those priorities. The last thing that I want to talk about is this October is the flu vaccine, and it's something that we've been encouraging our veterans to get, as well as our staff. Hospitals are filled with germs, not always the best place to be. So we need to make sure we're taking care of ourselves so we can take care of our veterans. VA has put out some guidance that has made it pretty clear that the goal for VA employees is that we will either get the vaccine or take appropriate precautions by wearing a mask, and that the expectation is by the end of November this year, so November 30th, all of us would have either been vaccinated or we would be preparing to take precautions to wear a mask when entering the building. We're all being asked to do an attestation that we're aware of this change in policy. Your health information will not be shared with supervisors or with leadership. You'll give your information to occupational health, and the information will just say that you were aware of the VA policy and you have met those requirements. So more information to come on that. There's screensavers out on that. But again, we're trying to encourage all of our staff to get vaccinated and to kind of remind your veterans when they're in front of you, if they've not gotten the vaccine, to please get the vaccine. We know that the flu season is expected to be a difficult one. We know in the past that more than 30,000 individuals have lost their lives to the flu. So if we can do some preventative work, both for our veterans and for our staff, we really want to do that. More information to come as we go forward. We continue to stay focused on suicide prevention. We've had events not only here in Wilmington, but in South Jersey to make that a priority. We're gearing up on some trainings and some conferences. We believe that here in South Jersey and in Wilmington, we can be the model for how we create the right safety net for our veterans to keep them safe, to reduce the risk of them wanting to end their lives, and help get them back into the communities. We've had our elected officials all sign the declarations. We've had many of our healthcare partners sign the declarations, and many of you have signed the declaration. So we want to make sure that in everything we do every day, that suicide prevention stays front and foremost. So again, I want to thank everybody for taking the time. These are some key things. We'll be continuing to do this monthly. So for those that can't get to the meetings, I will try to give this quick summary. We hope it's helpful. Please give your feedback to Jim, Cody, and others to let us know if this is something that helps you understand what we're doing and what we're focused here on Wilmington. Have a good month and talk to everybody next month.